The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her. Weird. We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story, just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Andrew Burnap, great dude. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, baby.
Y'all, it just keeps getting worse for Rachel Zegler, and honestly, at this point, it's starting to feel like she's her own worst enemy. After Snow White absolutely crashed and burned at the box office, you'd think the drama would die down, right? Wrong. Now the rumor mill is spinning like crazy, and it's saying that even her own co-star Andrew Burnap is pointing the finger directly at Rachel for the film's embarrassing downfall. And let me tell you, the behind-the-scenes tea is way juicier than anything that made it onto the screen. So buckle up, because today we're diving headfirst into how Rachel went from Disney's golden girl to Hollywood's biggest liability, and why insiders say Disney is now desperately trying to distance themselves from her. Like, seriously, folks are out here saying this girl should have never led a feature-length film.
I think this girl does not deserve a feature-length film.
You want to trash that legacy? That company that now Disney has screwed up the last 5 years trying to please a small percentage of minorities in America? Yeah, we're sick of it. So the more you do this, Disney, Iger, Ziegler, whatever her name is, yes, this is exactly the backlash you're going to get from parents who have kids who are your customers. You're supposed to win parents over. You're talking to kids, the parents pay for the tickets. You have to be a dummy as a marketer. If I'm Bob Iger, you know what we're doing? Emergency meeting. We're putting Snow White on hold for 2 years, and guess what? Pay her a couple $1,000,000, go away. We're gonna bring another person to play this role because you just screwed this thing up.
Disney, y'all are down bad. For 5 years straight, they bent over backward trying to chase after a tiny, loud corner of social media, trying to please a minority of voices, and it backfired spectacularly. Parents, the ones who actually buy the tickets, have had enough, and you can just picture it. Bob Iger, or Bob Igler, as some folks are calling him out here, sitting in a boardroom getting chewed out while someone screams, "Emergency meeting, shut this down for 2 years. Pay that girl a few million to disappear," because truth be told, Rachel screwed this thing up beyond repair, and after that embarrassing opening weekend flop, some people still held on to hope. Thought maybe the numbers would start crawling back up. Oh, honey, they were wrong.
Things just went from bad to worse for Snow White, and it's shaping up to become one of the biggest bombs of all time.
In a record-breaking disaster that even Disney couldn't spin. Snow White plummeted at the box office, suffering a brutal 66% drop in its second week. That's worse than Dumbo 2019 levels of bad.
Snow White remake is now one of the lowest rated films in IMDb history. This is such a poor reception for a Disney princess movie, and I'll be surprised if it even has a 1-star tomorrow, because the bad reviews keep pouring in by the second.
Yup, you heard that right. Rachel Zegler's Snow White officially holds the title for the worst second week drop of any Disney live-action remake ever. And while the movie was free-falling into oblivion, Rachel tried one last desperate move to save face, and it only made things worse. She dragged her friends to a theater to watch Snow White, hoping to capture some support the movie vibes. But when they got there, the theater was basically empty. Her poor friend even posted it to Instagram, shouting Rachel's name as it flashed across the screen. And the echo off the empty seats was honestly deafening.
This was all documented on Rachel's friend's Instagram account, where she filmed herself shouting Rachel's name as it appeared on screen in a near-empty theater. Now, this all started a trend of people filming themselves seeing Snow White in theaters, and in almost every video, the cinema is almost always empty.
Wow, people love me.
And guess what? This sad little moment kicked off a whole new trend online. People started filming themselves at showings of Snow White, and in almost every single video, the theaters were ghost towns.
This was all documented on Rachel's friend's Instagram account, where she filmed herself shouting Rachel's name as it appeared on screen in a near-empty theater. Now, this all started a trend of people filming themselves seeing Snow White in theaters, and in almost every video, the cinema is almost always empty.
Wow, people love me.
With that viral trend exploding, it didn't take long for the rumors to start flying. Word on the street? Disney execs are furious. And some reports even claim Rachel's already been quietly dumped from future projects.
Apparently, Rachel Zegler is suing Disney Studios for wrongful termination and also discrimination. I literally don't understand what's going on. Rachel just needs to sit down. Like this says, rumor has it, Rachel Zegler might be suing Disney and others for canceling some of her Snow White press tour due to all the controversies. Bro, before the movie even came out, she was talking about how she wants to bring up the woman in this movie and how there's not going to be a prince. And so I understand, like, Disney saying, like, you did so much in this press tour that did not help us in any way and actually negatively affected our movie. So, I mean, honestly, it does kind of make sense.
This movie was supposed to be life-changing for a lot of people, not just Rachel, especially for her co-star Andrew Burnap. Before the drama tsunami hit, Andrew had big dreams that Snow White would be his breakout moment. He told People magazine, "I auditioned, put something on tape, sent it off. Weeks later, they wanted to see me again. Then they said, you're going to do a chemistry read with Rachel Zegler." I got the call that I booked it, and I literally sat down on the ground thinking, wow, my life's about to change. And y'all, it did change. Just not at all the way he thought. Because even before filming wrapped, Rachel was already out here sabotaging everything. The movie, the characters, the legacy. Every time she opened her mouth during the press tour, it felt like Rachel was looking down on the project that made her famous. She dragged the original Snow White story. She shaded Andrew's character hard. At one point, she straight up called the prince a weird stalker in an interview. Speaking to Extra TV, she said, "A guy that literally stalks her? Weird. We have a different approach. It's not really a love story at all. It's wonderful." Imagine hearing that about your character from your co-star during the movie's promotion.
A prince or a different kind of prince?
We have a different approach to what I'm sure a lot of people will assume is a love story just because, like, we cast a guy in the movie. Right. Andrew Burnap, great dude. Yeah. It's one of those things that I think everyone's going to have their assumptions about what it's actually going to be, but it's really not about the love story at all, which is really, really wonderful. And whether or not she finds love along the way is anybody's guess until 2024. All of Andrew's scenes could get cut. Who knows? It's Hollywood, babe.
Ouch. And it wasn't just audiences side-eyeing her. David Hale Hand, son of the original Snow White supervising director, slammed Rachel's attitude, saying she showed zero respect for Walt Disney's vision or his father's work. The backlash got so intense that Disney had to drag Rachel into a forced damage control interview with Variety. Suddenly, she was all, "I would never want to box someone in. Love stories are integral." It was taken out of context. "Girl, we heard you the first time." And it wasn't cute, but Andrew wasn't the only one feeling Rachel's chaos behind the scenes. Rachel's drama wasn't just hurting Andrew. It was also blowing up her relationship with her other co-star, Gal Gadot. And this time, things got way more personal. You see, back in August 2024, Rachel decided, for some reason, to jump on social media and post pro-Palestine messages right when the Snow White trailer was dropping. Like, what was she thinking? Now listen, politics are always messy, but this move, it was a PR nightmare. Because here's the thing, Gal Gadot isn't just Israeli. She served in the Israeli Defense Forces and has been very vocal in supporting Israel during the conflict. So when Rachel used the movie's promo cycle to push a strong political stance, it sent shockwaves through Disney. Insiders said Disney execs were blowing up her phone within minutes, demanding answers. It got so bad that the movie's producer, Mark Platt, even flew to New York to talk to Rachel face-to-face, but by then, the damage was already done. Rachel's post triggered huge backlash and things started spiraling fast. Gal Gadot started getting unaliving threats because of her background, and it got so serious that Disney had to bring in extra security for her. Sources say Rachel just didn't get it. She didn't understand how her one tweet had put everyone, including herself, at risk. And after that, Rachel's relationship with Gal crumbled completely. During promo events, you could feel the ice between them. At the US premiere, they barely interacted. And when the team flew to Spain for the European premiere, Gal didn't even show up, period.
It's $170 million on the film. The studio opted for a small LA premiere, held Saturday in the middle of the day with limited press. Zegler greeted children dressed as Snow White. She was not at Disneyland on Sunday, where Gal Gadot promoted the film, surrounded by children dressed as her character, the Evil Queen.
Not just the political drama, though. There's also a huge age gap between Gal and Rachel. Gal's a mother of 4, mature, experienced, a total pro. Meanwhile, Rachel's a young rising star, still figuring things out. And honestly, they had nothing in common. One insider told People magazine, "Gal is annoyed by all the drama. She was fine filming with Rachel, but they were never friends. They just did a job together, and that's it." it. Another source said Gal couldn't believe Rachel was dragging their project publicly. To Gal, if you sign onto a movie, you promote it, you support it. You don't trash it every chance you get. And honestly, Gal wasn't wrong, because Rachel wasn't finished causing drama, not even close. Right in the middle of all the Snow White chaos, Rachel decided to pick another fight, this time with Donald Trump and all his supporters. On Instagram, she went off posting, "May Trump supporters, Trump voters, and Trump himself never know peace." And she didn't stop there. She called Trump followers a deep, deep sickness, dragging them for believing in a false sense of security, masculinity, intelligence, patriotism, and humanity. And ended it all with a loud "F Donald Trump." And y'all already know? The internet exploded. The MAGA crowd came for Rachel's neck immediately, demanding Disney fire her. They threatened to boycott Snow White altogether if Rachel stayed on the project. And Disney, they were panicking. Rachel was alienating half of the entire audience they needed to save this disaster of a film. Mark Platt, poor guy, had to fly out again for yet another emergency meeting with Rachel. And this time, Disney called in a social media crisis team to manage the mess. Finally, after being dragged kicking and screaming, Rachel posted a half-hearted apology. "Hi everyone, I want to sincerely apologize for the election post. I let my emotions get the best of me. Hatred and anger have caused us to move further away from peace." She tried to spin it, saying she believes in respecting other opinions. But by that point, the damage was already done. Rachel had burned bridges with her co-stars, infuriated Disney's bosses, alienated a huge chunk of the movie's audience, and worst of all, she couldn't stop tripping over her own words. Now, she's stuck watching everything she worked for go up in flames, all because she couldn't stay off social media long enough to let the movie breathe. The fallout from Snow White has been nothing short of catastrophic. For Disney, for Andrew, for Gal, but especially for Rachel Zegler. And now, the big question remains, can she ever come back from this? Or is Rachel Zegler's Hollywood story already over? Let's talk about it in the comments. And don't forget to check out our next video, because Chile, this drama train is not slowing down anytime soon.